Hello everyone, you're welcome to this our video again. In this video, what we're going to look at here, we're going to um, create a custom VPC. We are going to build a three-tier VPC, and in this three-tier VPC, we're going to divide the infrastructure into three tier. So the first tier will have the NAT gateway, the load balancer, and that will be for public subnet. And then the second tier, which will be a private subnet, will host our web server. Then the third tier two is going to be another private subnet, which is going to host the database. Then we will duplicate the resources into multiple availability zones to for high availability and fault tolerance. Then we're going to go further to create an internet gateway and a route table to allow VPC to have access to internet. We are equally going to look at the advantages of having a main route table. And today simply we'll be creating our custom VPC. So for us to create our custom VPC, once you log into your console, the first thing that you need to do is verify the region where you want to create your VPC. So for example, if you come here, you'll be able to see where you want to work. Like for me, I want to work in US East Northern Virginia. So once I am already in the region, I simply move in here. You could type VPC here, or since my own appears here, I will just click VPC and it will take me to the service here. Once I am here, I'm going to click create VPC. And since I want a custom VPC, what I would do is I will come to and select VPC only, and there I can create a name, and the name for this my VPC will be my pro VPC. Once you type the name, you can go further and select IPv4 CIDR block, and here I'm going to have use the CIDR block 10.0.0.0/16, and I'll go further. Oh, that's slide 16, and then I'll leave the other thing as default for tenancy. Equally always leave tenancy as default as it is. Then we go for that, and that will be it. Here you just create your VPC. Okay, once you create a custom VPC, the next thing that you will want to do is to attach to enable DNS host name for your VPC. This one will help us to be able to identify our VPC by name, not by IP address. So if you come back here, you say edit settings, and you move down here where it says enable DNS host name. Once you enable it, you can then create it and save it. So that has been done. So once this has been done successfully, the next thing that we want to do is to create an internet gateway and attach it to the VPC. So for us to be able to create the internet gateway, if you come down here, you look at here, we have internet gateway. You click the internet gateway, and for the internet gateway, there's no internet gateway here as of now, so we will say create internet gateway, and you can give it a name tag, and we will say my pro internet gateway. And so once that has been created, I will simply, when that has been typed, I will simply create internet gateway. So once it is created, we must attach this internet gateway to our VPC. So for us to do that, we simply move to action here, click action, and then we attach, and it will ask us which VPC we want to attach. As of now, I have only one VPC, my pro VPC, and there we click it here and we attach. There we go. So once you do like this, you've attached internet gateway to your VPC, and a VPC can be able to have access to the internet. In my next video, I will be creating VPC various subnets, and that's it for now, guys. So once you want to create a subnet, once you are in VPC dashboard, what you're simply going to do is, you see here, we can still see our VPC. You come a little and scroll down, and you can see subnet. We click here and we can see create subnet. And to create this subnet is going to request the VPC ID, and in the drop down menu here you can have the various VPCs that you've created. Make sure that you pick the right VPC. All right, so when you do that, we can move down, and here it demands the subnet name, and our subnet here that we'll be creating, the first one will be public, we call it public subnet easy one. All right, public subnet easy one. So we call this public subnet easy one, and then we go down here. It's asking for availability zone, and here these are available. Since I'm working in US East Northern Virginia, there are several availability zones here, and make sure that when you pick one, you're going to walk through with that one. So I'm going to pick US East 1. So that will be my first availability zone. And then for the CIDR block that we use here, I'm going to use the CIDR block 10.0.0.0/24. All right, so my CIDR block here is going to be 10.0.0 .0/24. Okay, make sure that you enter the CIDR block correctly, and once that has been entered and you verify every information and is correct, so you just say create subnet, and that has been created. Then we'll go next to create the second subnet. We come back here and we say create subnet, and this second one I'll be creating private app subnet. Remember, we are creating a private subnet for our application, so we're going to create an app subnet, and then we are equally going to create another private subnet for the database. So when we come to this drop down menu, we select our VPC, and then we scroll down, and it's going to ask the subnet name, and then here we call it our private we call it private subnet is no, I'm going to call it private app subnet. Yeah, private app subnet, and this is going to be in easy one. Okay, so then we go further. It's going to ask for our availability zones. Remember, we are still working in US East 1, and I'm still going to choose the first availability zone, US East 1A. Then I will go further. He is going to ask for our IPv subnet CIDR block name, and the one I'm going to use here is 10.0.2.0/24. So I will have 10.0.2.0/24. Now once that has been done, make sure you verify everything and be sure that you've put it the right way. And then you move down and you can click here, create the subnet. It's been created, and then we can move to the next one again and say create subnet. Since we are creating 3, the subnet here that will be creating will be for our database. So I will click this drop down menu and I will select the VPC that I want to use. I will move down here and right on the subnet here name, I will write a private database. I say database, to see database private database is 1. So say hold on, private database easy 1. And then once that has been done, I will move down and I'll look at the availability zone. I'm still working in the same availability zone, US East 1A I selected, and then I'll go down and it will ask for the CIDR block. The CIDR block that I'll be using here will be 10.0.4.0/24. So I will enter 10.0.4.0/24. You verify everything and make sure that what you have done here is correct, and once it's correct, you create the subnet. There you go, the subnet has been created. All right, so if we come back here to this filter and we go to subnets, let's come down to subnet, you can be able to see the various subnets that we have created. So we've created public subnet easy 1, public app subnet easy 1, and then private app subnet easy 1, and private data base availability. Oh boy, it's supposed to be subnet, it's supposed to be private database subnet easy 1. So I can edit this one here by saying private, let me just say private data database, like private database subnet easy 1. So you save it. So that's what we have here. And once we have done like that, if you scroll to the right, these are the subnet ID is available, and this is the VPC we've used. And if you look here, you can see the CIDR blocks and the availability. Say the availability zone here is US East 1, and that is it. So we are going to move forward further to create our other subnets in the second availability zone. So we come back here and we say create subnet. We are still going to use the same VPC. So when you click the drop down menu, you have the VPC we selected, and we move down and then we choose the side of the subnet name, and this one is going to be public subnet easy 2. All right, so public subnet easy 2, and let me see, so public subnet easy 2, and then our availability zone here, the availability zone that we're going to use, remember we have used US East 1, so this one we are going to be using, you can choose any one. All right, you can choose 1B, 1C, 1D, or so on, but you cannot be choosing 1A since we want to make our app highly available. So I will be choosing US East 1B, and then it's going to request the CIDR block. Here the CIDR block that I'll be using will be 10.0.1.0/24. so I will use 10.0.0/24. All right, and you have to verify it is 10.0.1.0/24. once it's everything is okay the way you want it, and you can then go further to say create subnet. Once that has been created, we again have another one to create. Come back to create, we click the drop down menu, we select the VPC that we're going to use, and then here again is requesting the subnet, the name, and this one is going to be private app subnet. All right, so we say private app subnet, and this one will be subnet, we call this easy 2. All right, and then the availability zone here, remember we are choosing US East 1B, and the CIDR block that we're going to be using here is going to be 10.0.3.0/24. all right, so we have 10.0 0.3.0/24. So you have to make sure, verify, and be sure that it's correct. And when everything is correct, we can then move forward to say create subnet. And then once that has been created, we can go further to create the last one. And the last one that we'll be creating here will be private database subnet. So we click the drop down menu and select the VPC. We scroll down and we see private private uh, database, or you see database, you see database, um, database subnet easy to. All right, easy to. Once that has been created, we go further to locate the availability zone, and our availability zone here is US East 1B. We choose it, and then the CIDR block here is going to be 10.0.5.0/24. So we take 10.0.5.0/24. So once that has been labeled correctly, we can then create the subnet. There you go. You see the subnets have been created. So if we come back to our subnets here, we can be able to see all the subnets that we have created. So we have public subnet AZ1, private app subnet AZ1, private database subnet AZ1, public subnet AZ2, private app subnet AZ2, and private database subnet AZ2. All of this has been created, and if you come here, these are their CIDR block, their subnet ID, and this is the VPCs that we've used. And then we look at the CIDR block numbers, so right here, and everything, and the availability zones. All right, so once all of this has been created, then we are good to go to the next topic. So in our next topic, we'll see how to create the route tables and associate all the subnets and so on. All right, thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.